We are from A group. We want to present our summary. The title is The Picture of Dorian Gray. In the art studio of Basil Hallward, someone is discussing the latest painting with his pretty and immoral friend. Lord Henry Wotton thought that the painting, an extraordinarily beautiful portrait of a young man, should be displayed, but Basil disapproved of this for fear of his obsession with the portrait's subject. Where Dorian Gray can be seen in the work, Dorian then arrived, and he is struck as Henry explained his belief that one should live life to the fullest by following one's heart. Henry also points out that beauty and youth are fleeting, and Dorian said that he would give his soul if the portrait grew old and wrinkled, while he remained young and handsome. Basil gave the painting to Dorian. Henry decided to take on the project of shaping Dorian's personality.
Okay, my name is Gusti Ayu Syafriani with ID number 2101404043. I want to continue the story about the picture of Dorian Gray. Henry and Basil meet for dinner. Henry tells Basil that Dorian has fallen in love with an actress named Sybil Fane. Because of her beauty and extraordinary acting talent, Dorian Gray is engaged to Sybil and will soon marry her. And Basil hopes that Dorian Gray gets a girl who is nice to him. Henry said the girl was beautiful and even very kind. And later in the evening, the three of them, namely Dorian, Henry, and Basil, went to the opera to see Sybil perform. Sybil plays a Juliet. But however, something unexpected happened that ruined the show. Sybil explained to Dorian that she knows what true love is. She can no longer act like she's in love on stage. Because of Sybil's statement, Dorian was so irritated that he no longer wanted anything to do with Sybil. Sybil kept begging Dorian not to leave her because she loved Dorian so much. But Dorian still left Sybil because he already disappointed after that incident. Dorian returned home and cleaned up his portrait again. The portrait is getting old, but Dorian still looks young. He also saw the cruel expression on her portrait face, so he thought and decided to apologize to Sybil. The next day, Henry came to see Dorian. They had breakfast together. Dorian conveys the idea to Henry to apologize to the Sybil and to marry her soon. But Henry informs Dorian that Sybil had killed herself the night before. Dorian thought it was all his fault, but Henry confides Dorian not to worry as there was no reason for him to feel bad for Sybil. And forget all the events that have happened because it was missed. Then they planned to go to the opera with Henry. In the morning, Basil visits Dorian and they have breakfast together. Basil didn't expect that Dorian had gone to the opera last night. after Sybil did. But Dorian dodged it and said Sybil's death was past, so there was nothing to think about. Basil lamented about what had happened to Sybil. Then Basil wanted to see the portrait of Dorian's painting, but Dorian refused and threatened Basil that he would not talk to Basil again if he saw the portrait. And Basil also agreed. And then Dorian asked that the portrait be moved, and Dorian hid the painting in his attic so no one else could see the portrait. Henry sent Dorian a yellow cover book, which he said was poisonous and interesting to read. And also he finds news about an examination of the actress Sybil Fane. Reading it irritates Dorian, and tears the paper and throws it away. Dorian thought it wasn't his fault. And the next story will be continued by my friend.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Most of chapter 11, the strange behavior that Dorian has because of his agreements. Dorian has passionate about perfume, music, games, and embroidery, almost boring stuff. The world that Dorian has created for himself, a world where fun and passion becomes the most hand and never-ending thing. No matter how much Dorian's suppression his desires, he has never satisfied. At the end, Dorian say there are times when he views evil as only a way of realizing his compassion of beauty. He lived in a gilded cage and reasoner of his passion and fire. And then chapter 11, this is chapter only bring that two characteristic together and sets up this important event of chapter 30. And then in chapter 30, the chapter 30, the first event is a shocking revival of the Partain. Unlike Lord Harley and Dorian, Basil was a relatively simple and polite man. He had come to see Dorian because he has truly afraid of his young friends. How had helped him out for the past 18 years, basing want to be told that the rumors about Dorian are false. Second import, even basing as Dorian to forgive these sins. He realize about has happened to Dorian life and full quality basing Dorian for his forgiveness, his con- concords for Dorian soul can be seen from his action, but Dorian responds that too late basing and thoughts were mean nothing to me now. Only the central character in the Faun's legends, this Sophos, into the spine, feeling that his sin is so great that he cannot call be a seven, because that a mix of fright and disdain leave him unable to apologize. Durian problem was basically this his unwillingness to apologize. On top of that, there was the question of question of what hair Durian whether to change he his life. He stated that he don't know if he regrets the wish that turned out to be a contract. This pivotal even during segment to uh, revival come word of measures for the image or order him to kill his old friend Durian. After he killed Basil, Durian killed the only little friend his hand, and with it he killed his only cast to random his souls. And then 50 and then what she created does Durian have overcome Bell most likely is was something the scientists that years ago will under Durian influence after of Durian was fully aware that blackmailing Campbell into helping him was not right. Durian has been dominated by his secret crimes. Durian so that he was gone to fire, and then 15 chapter 15 the opening sense of this chapter is a dinner party at Lady Narbonne's. Durian arrived only about has after Campbell departure from his home. First Durian was a treat of the party. Durian dinner, and then Durian ate nothing, has a drug a view glass a winner is fudge, and then this increasing is high drug, perhaps referring to his unique cable like part from the tall. Dorian is described in irritable. For example, will Lord Harry question him about his whereabouts the night before. Durian become agitated that give a response that has to divisive and likely. And then Lord Harry noticed that there must be something wrong with Durian, but he usually don't scare. Durian continued to file on will, and he left the party. Either Durian was so with his secret life that he has unable to enjoy the place. He has give up his son. Durian has two secret two birth to the last the best ever example. Finally he worked ever to ever and talk to smile chin box instead to box with as a great pastel glistening like was smiling every Harry. Uh, Durian like a commoner has a taxi and a set of tours and the drive.
Chapter 16. Story told about Dorian's sins. He willing to forgiveness and undo his life in the past. But that is painless, like a rice that has become mush.
He realized that forgiveness is impossible. At least he wishes to forget his memories that reflecting on his sins. The story of his life revolves around him and his sins. He doesn't long to be good, only to forget and feed his sins. Because of Henry's advice that the beauty is not innocence, but experience, has overtaken his perception of the world around him. And now Dorian only needs opium as his friend. The darkness of a bar makes Dorian remember the sin that he has. The memory of Basil murder haunts him. In the other case, James Vance finds out about Dorian that has been haunting because he heard about Princess Charming, the old nickname of Dorian. And he finds out Dorian in the bar that has been hunting for years by grabbing the neck of Dorian and hollow revolvers in his hand. This has happened because the sister of James has been dead for 6 years ago because of Dorian. The old nickname of Dorian changed from a statement of love become a curse. Now, not the beauty that people look at him, but the unlikeliness of his beauty, his face dooms himself. The story around of Lord Henry, Dorian and Duchess, and her husband, and the other guests at his country house. Especially the banter between the Duchess and the Lord Henry. The first is Duchess accuses the Lord Henry too highly to valuing the beauty of Dorian. But he denied it. He also valuing ugliness, he claims. Duchess also accuses that Dorian never really loving someone, and the Lord Henry responds that there are many good experiences more than love, and Dorian agrees with Henry. The banter back and forth until Dorian interrupts them by collapse in the other room. Now without reason, Dorian fainted because he saw the sign of James Vane's face at the window, and terror filled his heart. In the chapter 18, as the story reaches the climax, the terror of James Vane's sight has tortured Dorian the next day. He sees James Vane everywhere in reality. In reality, James stalked Dorian and become nightmare to Dorian. Dorian goes outside and meets with the Duchess and her brother, Sir Geoffrey, who has been hunting, but he did not shoot a hare, rather a man. However, during a shooting party, Geoffrey accidentally kills James Vane while lurking in behind of tree. Dorian sees for certain that the body was James Vane's. Tears of relief came to his eyes. After staying in the country, Dorian comes back to the London and tells Henry he has decided to be a good person. And Dorian certain with his resolution thought. Henry asks how the turns came and good did. A girl has fallen in love with him, but Dorian ended off the romantic before it started and went too far. Topic turned to Basil's disappearance, but Henry only cares and concerned about the case, not the person that became a victim. Henry said that the only interesting thing is when Basil confessed his love for Dorian around years ago. But Dorian said that he never really liked him except just a friend. And Henry asked what happened with the painting. Then Dorian answered that he has sold the painting to the other person, such as what Henry said. The art is masterpiece. Dorian linked the painting to a quote about a face without a heart. He seemed genuinely happy when he think what a blessed life Dorian had. His life has occurred like a work of art. Henry suggests they go into club, but Dorian maintains his way to alter his life, and blames Henry for poisoning with him book that he had learned in the boyhood. But Henry against it. The art never acts in such a way. It depends on the viewer and mirror reflecting on the viewer. Chapter 20. Dorian walks home through London Street. He reminds the places he has been and the awful thing that he had done in that place. Every pleasure seems lost to him. He deeply regrets the faithful that he has chosen. How wonderful it will be now to receive each punishment from each sin that he has done. It's much natural to receive punishment from of justice. Dorian picked the mirror that given by Henry and remembered his beauty has been written in the history. The thread of his crimes being discovered is over. It is time to start a new life. Maybe, if he lived good enough, the portrait will gradually return in natural state. Full of hope, Dorian rushes upstairs to the picture. As he removes the cloths, the old terror returns. But what surprises, the figure much more uglier than before. Now Dorian doubts to his revolvers to do good. As he becomes distressed, he notices the red stain on the painting is growing on like a blood. He considers to making confession. His motive unclear to him. He grabs the murder weapon and wants to kill the painting that has ruined his life. As he strikes, a terrible cry is heard by servant. They manage to get in the room through the balcony and find their master dead on the floor, with hideous and all shape. But in the other case, a portrait hanging on in the wall with a beautiful young man. I think that's all from our group. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.